Oh, in the fourth quarter, he was on fire. Shouts out to MOP. 20 points in the fourth quarter, doing it every way possible. And the Bucks take a 2-1 lead. Who is he? He is I is him. That is Chris Middleton. One-time G Leaguer, now all-star, max player, going to the Olympics. 38 points in the game, tying his career playoff high. You see it on the screen. 4 threes, 8 for 13. That boy was cooking. He was on fire. And we're all familiar with The Last Dance. We know what this tweet means. And we see the picture of MJ. And, I think we all know exactly what that means. And allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ro. It's right here. It's Playoff Central Live, presented by AT&T 5G, along with the All-Star and champion Steve Smith, the lottery legend Greg Anthony. We just witnessed the Milwaukee Bucks take a 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series. They get the victory tonight against the Hawks. Trae Young has an ankle injury, steps on an official's foot later in the third quarter. Really wasn't the same after that. Smitty, coming to you first. Initial reactions, and you can go either way, but what stood out most to you? Was it the Bucks' victory and what they did after Trae's injury, or what happened with the Hawks?
Number 22, Chris Middleton. That's what stood out for me. Chris Middleton, this is the best I've seen him play. The reason why, GA, is not just because of the points, but he had 11 rebounds. He had 7 assists, and he was aggressive. It was a meaningful game. He just didn't settle for threes. He gave it to you every kind of way you wanted it. And the one thing I loved about it was no hesitation. It was against bigs. And he said, hey, I got to get some separation from these Hawks, and I got to be the guy. He acted like the number one option, GA. He's not. That's Giannis, but at times he can be. And this is one of those games where I said he put the pressure on the Hawks with his size. Even though he shot threes, he shot over guys. He didn't let them off the hook. So what was the game to me? It was all Chris Middleton on the Bucks side. Even though Giannis played well, it was Chris Middleton for me.
Middleton playing well, and as you mentioned, he's become the closer. We know he's not the number one option per se, but in the fourth quarter, he becomes that. We saw him come up big in Game 7 against the Brooklyn Nets. We saw him win a game against the Miami Heat in the first round. He's accepted this role and really filled it well.
Well, in a lot of ways, he is their first option, to your point, being a closer in the fourth quarter. And the advantage he has is he can play like a first option, but you can't defend him like a first option because of Giannis. And so he doesn't have to play in a crowd, even though he does there on that left-handed, the same way that other guys do. You see there, that's one-on-one matchup. Like, he can win his one-on-one matchup consistently. He's gotten to a point now where he can score against good defense consistently, and the presence of having Giannis out there creates opportunities where he's not the focal point of your defense. And that's a huge luxury. And to your point, now he's comfortable playing that way. They were plus 22 points in the paint. You know, they were basically even at that three-point line. And then Giannis is always getting his 30.
Yes.
So now, remember, Drew Holiday didn't shoot it well, but he also had 12 assists. And that's the one area, too, I think, when you look at this Bucks team that's changed. Like, one thing that's happened for Middleton is he doesn't have the pressure that he had a year ago because of Holiday's ability to make plays. 12 assists in this game. So when you, as a player, trust that those other guys can make plays, you don't force things nearly as much. You play with a lot more patience, a lot more poise, and a lot more confidence. And he was brilliant. And to Smitty's point, this has by far been the best he's shown in the postseason. And that's why this Bucks team right now is starting to look scary, because this was a game that Atlanta had a chance at, and he took it over in the fourth quarter. They had no answer.
No answer whatsoever. Entering into this game, the Bucks were 8-0 when Chris Middleton shot 40% or better. Now they go to 9-0 because he shot over 40% in this one, clearly. Taking a look at Giannis, we know that he's going to get his numbers, as GA mentioned, Smitty. He ends up with 33 and 10 in this one, gets to the free throw line and handles his business for the most part. They tried to count early, maybe disturbed him a little bit, but he was able to shake that off and still do what he does best.
Well, he's never going to shoot it excellent at the free throw line, but he's not scared to go there. That's the one thing is 13 free throw attempts, 6 for 13. It's not great, but he will continually absorb contact, look for contact, and he's not shying away. I like the way he played. I thought also give a lot of credit to Bobby Portis. The energy he's bringing. Didn't play a lot in the last series, but he is not one of those guys that's saying, poor me, GA. He's coming out. He's playing so hard, and I just like what they're doing in the paint. You said it, GA. That's plus 22 in the paint. That's hard to come by from the Atlanta Hawks. They don't have anybody else going well in the paint. If they're not getting lobs, they're not even really getting a lot of guys going downhill, getting buckets inside the paint, so it puts a lot of pressure on them in if they don't get to the free throw line.
And the game is about possessions, right? And so when you look at this game, they're plus 15 on the backboard, the Bucks. The Hawks don't get to the free throw line. They haven't shot more than 16 free throws in any game in this series. So you're losing possessions by not getting there. And then three-point wise, the Hawks were up 4 there, but the Bucks offset that by their ability to get out. Now, it doesn't show in the fast break points, but one thing, and this is where the coaching matters, the Bucks know they can run on Atlanta. If you watch this game, how many possessions did they get down and they just threw it over the top for easy baskets? Too many.
Well, we'll go to Nate right now, who's at the podium.
Stopping that run, Middleton got hot and, made some tough shots. We had open looks in that fourth quarter and, just didn't knock down those shots. Really they did what you need to do to win. When we got a rhythm and got a little momentum going, they was able to respond with some big baskets and big stops.
Ben Gallagher. Coach, what was your view of the Trey's injury? And then did you feel like that throughout your offensive rhythm? I think down the stretch it was something like you guys had like 3 baskets in the final 7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he tweaked his ankle, and of course, we had to go with some other options. And but again, I thought we got some open looks in the fourth quarter. Didn't knock down those shots. They did a good job of making us pay when we didn't get a basket in that fourth quarter. Middleton seemed like he was hitting everything. Giannis did a good job of keeping that momentum for those guys. And then when they miss, they got a couple offensive rebounds that were big.
Did you feel like he was moving normally after the injury, or was he hesitant at all?
No, he was.
Nate, obviously you've been around a long time and see guys get going like Chris did in that fourth quarter. Is there anything you could look back on it thinking that you would have liked to have tried to do differently, or is that just one of those situations where a guy that gets going and it almost doesn't matter?
Well, a guy's hot like that, you would like to hit what we call hit, basically run a guy at him. And, I thought we were trying to do that 1 or 2 times. And before we could even get a guy on him, he had released it.